The Diners Formica tabletop fell slick beneath Elias's trembling hand. Rain lashed against the windows, blurring the neon sign that spotted Rosie's hot coffee and pie. He hadn't touched his coffee, hadn't eaten a bite of the apple pie Rosie had placed before him. The aroma of cinnamon and sugar was cloying, a mocking parody of normalcy. He felt wrong. A tremor ran through him, not from the chill of the rain, but from something deeper, a dissonance resonating within his bones. The newsboy, a slip of a lad with eyes too old for his face, stood just outside the window hawking his papers. Blackwood Estate investigation. Another disappearance. Locals whisper of a curse. His voice was distorted, amplified by some unseen mechanism. Elias felt a pang of something akin to recognition. He's heard that voice before. The memory was fractured, shrouded in a fog of terror. "You look like you've seen a ghost, mister." For one. Rosie's voice was gentle, laced with concern. She wiped down the counter with a damp cloth. "Rough night." Elias forced a weak smile. Something like that. He tried to focus on her kind face, on the simple act of wiping a counter, anything to ground him in reality. But the edges of his perception swam. He saw a flicker of movement in the periphery, a shadow that wasn't there. A black Packard, its chrome gleaming under the rain-swept streetlights, pulled up outside. The caretaker emerged, impeccable in a duck suit and hat, his face an impassive mask. He entered the diner, his movements precise and unsettling. "Mr. Form," he said, his voice smooth and resonant. "Mr. Silas requests your presence." Elias felt a jolt of dread. Silas. The name echoed in his mind, linked to the swirling chaos of Blackwood Estate, the suffocating darkness, the unsettling melodies of the music box. "I don't think so," Elias stammered. "I'm not feeling well." The caretaker's expression didn't change. "Mr. Silas is insistent. He believes your presence is necessary." "Necessary for what?" Elias's voice rose, betraying his fear. The caretaker simply inclined his head. "That is information I am not privy to." Elias glanced at Rosie, who offered a sympathetic look. He knew he couldn't refuse. Something compelled him, something deeper than willpower. It felt familiar. He followed the caretaker out into the rain. The Packard's leather seats were cold and stiff. The car moved silently, gliding through the rain-slicked streets. Elias stared out the window, watching the familiar landscape blur into an indistinguishable mass. "Why me?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Mr. Silas understands your unique potential," the caretaker replied, his tone carefully neutral. They arrived at Silas's residence, a sprawling Victorian mansion overlooking the Ohio River. Fog clung to the grounds, obscuring the darkened windows and casting long, eerie shadows. Inside, the house was bathed in the warm glow of candlelight. Silas was waiting for him in a dimly lit study, surrounded by towering bookshelves filled with ancient tomes and strange artifacts. He sat behind a large mahogany desk, his face pale and drawn. "Elias," Silas said, his voice weary. "Thank you for coming." "What is this about, Silas? Why did you summon me?" Silas gestured to a chair. "Please, sit." He paused, then added, "I have complicated matters to discuss. Matters concerning your father." Elias's breath hitched. His father, Alistair, a brilliant but troubled scientist who had disappeared years ago while conducting experiments at Blackwood Estate. "What about him?" "Your father was a misguided friend," Silas said, his gaze distant. "He sought knowledge that was beyond his grasp. He delved into things he shouldn't have." "What kind of things?" "He sought to understand the harmony." The word resonated within Elias, triggering a flood of fragmented memories, the unsettling melodies of the music box, the swirling chaos of Blackwood Estate, the feeling of being changed. "The harmony? What is it?" Silas sighed. "It is difficult to explain. It is a force, an energy, a consciousness that permeates all things. Your father believed he could harness it, control it. And he failed. He came close," Silas said, his eyes filled with a profound sadness. "Too close. He unleashed something he couldn't contain. And now we must contain it again," Silas said, his voice low and urgent. "And you, Elias, are instrumental to that effort." He rose from his desk and walked over to a locked cabinet. He unlocked it with a small, ornate key and retrieved a music box, the same one Elias had heard at Blackwood Estate. It was intricately carved with scenes of grotesque creatures and unsettling symbols. "Your father created this," Silas said, handing the music box to Elias. "It is the key, the conduit." As Elias touched the music box, a wave of nausea washed over him. The symbols seemed to writhe and twist before his eyes. He felt a presence within him, something alien and powerful. "Play it, Elias," Silas said, his voice barely a whisper. "Play the song." The song began, a haunting melody that resonated deep within Elias's soul. He felt his body move, his fingers dancing across the music box's surface. The melody intensified, filling the room with a palpable sense of dread. He saw a fragmented woman, her face shifting and indistinct, her eyes burning with an ancient sorrow. She seemed to be reaching out to him, her voice a whisper in his mind. "Join us, Elias. Become one." He felt a tug, a pressure within his chest, as if something was trying to tear its way out. He felt his hands changing, his skin shifting, his very being transforming. He saw Blackwood Estate not as a Gothic mansion, but as a nexus of cosmic horror, a gateway to dimensions beyond human comprehension. He saw the Harmony not as a force to be controlled, but as a living entity, ancient and powerful. He saw himself not as Elias Thone, but as a vessel, a conduit, a pawn in a game far beyond his understanding. He realized with a chilling certainty that he was no longer in control. The music swelled, filling the room with its haunting melody. The fragmented woman's voice became stronger, clearer. "Sing with us, Elias. Embrace your destiny." And he sang the chorus of cosmic horror echoing through the house, the prelude to a darkness that was about to engulf the world.